We are back for another episode of Hard Not Life. If you don't remember, we are dedicated to the new core of hip hop, the business and the brand, in the balance between entertainment and authenticity. We are here at Fresh Aesthetic, the home of classic material, New York. It is a cultural staple, I like to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. You probably have seen it on your favorite rapper's favorite rapper.
There are things here you can't get anything else, real talk. And it's
Yeah.
not just a conversation. Like, the pieces here that you can't get anywhere else.
Yeah. And if you're not here for one of their great parties, then you're totally missing out. So check them out on Grand Street. So we really value discussion and debate here. And this particular topic, I think, comes up every year or so, and maybe it should. Maybe we should hold ourselves accountable, our community out, and our culture. So the question here, the topic today.
You ain't even introduced yourself or me or the crew.
Right? You're right. I was ready to get right into it. I'm Saul Goodman, your host and moderator of Hard Night Life. Would my co-host like to introduce himself?
My name is DK Marko, New Jersey's Juggernaut. So, whoa. Let's try this again. My name is DK Marko, New Jersey's Juggernaut, your baby mother's favorite non-baby father. What's good? You already know.
And you know our gang is here. Mika's here, making sure that we stay on top of our topics in our time. Maybe to jump in when she thinks it's necessary. And New York's greatest photographer and videographer and everything else, Modern Marvel, is here with us as well. So, can I get to the topic this time?
Go, do what you gotta do, fam.
Thank you. Does hip-hop owe the black community? So recently, we were all, I think all of us, everywhere except for Trump, was celebrating the opening of LeBron's school in Ohio, in Akron, Ohio. I promise it's an actual space that he organized with the Akron public school system, with his own money, with his own foundation for at-risk youth in Akron. And people were very excited about this. For me, it mirrored the $1 million donation from Chance the Rapper to Chicago Public Schools last year. In the midst of celebrating LeBron, some scrutiny arose for other celebrities, and I tie this in with hip hop because LeBron is hip hop. There are different celebrities and different athletes that embody the message of our culture. That, you know, they didn't give it to us, so we're gonna take it, or we're gonna make it ourselves. What do you think?
You know, I feel funny about this because a lot of people are going to give LeBron's school a lot of attention, which it deserves, because anybody doing something positive is very important, because studies show that you need 3 times as many positive things to impact you as one negative thing. So we need more positive news out there in the first place for it to really register. But when you say things like, does the hip hop owe the black community, that just is a very loaded statement in a lot of different ways. And it hurts because I think it takes away from all the different charities that people have been giving and all the different ways people have been giving back since hip hop was created. Like, it's unfair to say that. You always got to remember that hip hop was created in the 70s in New York because of through gang culture, through a bunch of people that had nothing and created a way to entertain themselves through it. Like, I don't want to romanticize it because, there was a lot of, like, fights, and going to hip-hop shows in the 70s and the early 80s was dangerous. Like, you're literally putting your life on the line. But at the same time, it was a constructive outlet for people's energy at a moment when people like Robert Moses were doing nothing but tearing down the communities of black and brown people.
when he brings up Robert Moses, he was one of the architects of the New York City landscape, but also responsible for the cross Bronx.
Yeah,
It,
it led
it
to white
destroyed,
flight,
yes, destroyed
which
the black middle class, dove the Bronx into this type of poverty-stricken image that it still has to this day.
yeah,
And so I think yes, that hip hop is doing a lot. It is a voice for our community and our people, and we have a lot of people who continue to benefit from it.
yeah,
What I say when I ask is that you have a lot of artists who have benefited from this craft, from the stories, not necessarily their stories. A lot of times they're telling the stories of the people in their lives, the drug dealers and the drug addicts, the mothers who are struggling, the fathers who are struggling, and you can make millions of dollars off of that, or at least build exposure. I'm not saying that artists aren't doing a lot. It is known that Hove, Diddy continue to give back, but do those efforts, in the same way that we can see them celebrating their success, do those efforts need to be more public for everyone else that's coming behind them?
Well, far be it from me to give George Steinbrenner any more credit than he already has, but he had a saying where if you did a favor for somebody and two people know about the favor, then you didn't really do anything, right? So George Steinbrenner, who is known for wilding out in the 80s and just getting rid of managers and people on the Yankees, is also known, after he died, it only came out, how charitable he was, right? So that's one aspect that you're just saying that, yo, if you're doing this charity, you don't have to publicize it. And then two, like, people have been doing things for forever. Like, people have been giving back to charity for forever. Just because nobody built a school in front of everybody doesn't mean that, like, oh, everybody's dropping the ball. And if I can go one more step, an artist is an artist. The only thing I require of an artist is to be an artist and emote genuinely, right? So, like, if I believe that you're doing your best to express your feelings and express yourself, that's all I'm asking for you, because you're an artist. I'm not asking you to get back to my community. I'm not asking you to even say something relevant. All I'm doing is asking you for genuine emotion in the art that you create. You feel me? Like, how many people out here, like, Basquiat created fantastic art. How many people were asking Basquiat when he was alive, like, what are you doing to give back? Or how many people were like, yo, Picasso, what are you doing to give back? People aren't asking them that, but, like, because somebody puts a beat to a rhyme and uses the N-word, now you just like, yo, what do you owe your community? Like, fam, like, be an artist, make art. That's the only thing that I, as a consumer of art, can ask you to do.
Well, see, you're talking about consumerism. First of all, white people are the biggest consumers of rap music, so they don't actually. So, like, all these efforts don't necessarily have to cater to us. Don't have to at all. I say that, and you brought up another point about you do good. You know, you don't have to necessarily say anything. You brought Steinbrenner, and that's scripture, actually. That's in the Bible. If you do good, but we're talking about hip hop now, where at its foundation was addressing socio-political concerns. So it's not just an art. It is a culture. It is a community. It is a lifestyle. And there are responsibilities even in your artistry. And let's not disregard the fact that movement and civil rights and development of our community, the entertainment class of our community has always been at the forefront. That didn't stop a Muhammad Ali from stepping forward, or a Jackie Robinson, or a Sidney Poitier from coming forward and representing for their community. And I don't think that the responsibility stops just because people are making millions of dollars as well.
I don't think it stops because they're making millions of dollars, but fam, like, you're an individual. Like, you don't owe me shit. If they want to chill and spend their money on the Cayman Islands and making sure that their daughters and sons are fine, then I have no right to be like, you owe me more. I'm the one that chooses to consume your art. I'm the one that can choose to never listen to you again. So if you don't choose to spend money on my community, that's fine. Like, I would hope that your morality and that your values linked up more with mine and that you would give back. But if you don't, I have no right to demand anything from you at all.
Is that the state of mind that we want to have? Maybe that's what's creating the kind of climate we have right now, where not even the drug trade, but drug addiction is celebrated.
If y'all really want to do that, or cats really feel that way, then stop supporting the Trippy Reds and the Triple Extensions and the Lil Xans and the Lil Skies, and start supporting the Joey Badasses and the Loaf Musics and the Earth Gangs.
Again, so
if
like
that's
I said,
the case, then prove it with your dollars, fam.
But again, it's even since the very beginning of rap as an industry, the funders and the consumers have been white. There is no obligation. Yet we do want to celebrate LeBron. We do want to celebrate the Chance the Rappers. Like, yo, you can. I'm saying again, there's a balance that I think rappers or hip hop artists can follow. Everybody has mocked Kanye about what has happened with Donda House. And Donda House's bottom line has been affected because of his comments, and they've had to change the name. I think that there is. I think that I think that there could be a responsibility there.
I think if someone chooses to take responsibility, that's cool for them. But what I'm saying that no one is obligated to do that because that's an individual decision. What I'm trying to say is that you're saying is that, like, yo, the people that make this and consume this aren't the people that can be benefited by charity, because the people that fund hip hop are white, and a large part of the people that consume hip hop are white. But you feel as though, like, the people that this music was made by, and maybe the music that it speaks to more, are other black and brown people. And so because that's the case, and because you feel like they're making money off these people's backs and off their stories, that they owe them something to these communities, right? Now, I think it'd be nice if everybody thought that way. But an artist is not obligated to do shit except make art, because they are an artist.
And again, if we demand more, like, okay, you're not certified, you're not authentic, if you aren't supporting your community. I'm not saying, like, again, it's an individual action. I'm not saying I need the bread. I'm saying I need to see more people willing to make substantial investments in the community that they come from.
But why?
And it's happening. But the thing is not.
Sorry, what is a significant investment in the community? Because I think there are enough people in hip hop that are investing in the community that it kind of balances out. Like, do I care that 6ix9ine might not be given to fucking Planned Parenthood? No, but you have people like J. Cole with their own charities. You have people like Snoop Dogg that has the football league in Cali that gets kids off the streets and also gives charitable donations on top of that. You have Common with a charity. You have all these different. You have Akon with a charity bringing, like, energy, literal energy to Africa right now. So it's like, what do we do? Jesus and Merle is also, like, giving back to their community. Like, what are we doing? Like, what grandiose, like, standard are we holding these people to? Not everybody has to be in front of everything. Some people could be like, yo, write a check, give money to this person. Maybe I'm just going to give money to a high school that I went to, like Joel Ortiz. You know, like, why does everybody have to be like, yo, I'm going to invest every penny I have into this school? Like, nah, be good. If you want to give back, give back. I have a better question for you. The percentage of money that you get in your pocket, are you giving that same percent as some rapper that you're judging to charity? Like, are you doing that? Listener, if you're listening to this, what are you doing? What percentage of your income do you give to charity? Do you give back? And are you judging that against some other rapper? And are you getting mad because it kind of doesn't add up, or maybe it does? Like, what are you doing?
So I do give personally for me, I give a little bit more than 10% of my gross income to charity. So if you're a millionaire and you're giving 10% of your gross income to charity, then that's $100,000.
Yeah.
Again, I think that this is a discussion that continually needs to be brought up. If a part of hip hop's image is partying, is celebration, is splurging, is fashion, another part can be philanthropy. And it is. It's a basis for a lot of people. Again, usually when it comes to Hove, you kind of hear the stories from others that he's given to. Diddy in the same way. But I think that we can continue to bring up the standard. If we have no problem with celebrating other facets of hip hop, we can celebrate this one as well.
Yeah, but you talk like nobody's doing anything, when I think there are a lot of artists doing things.
I didn't say that nobody's doing anything. I'm saying, does hip hop owe its community?
I mean, the problem with that statement is that it naturally infers that hip hop isn't already contributing to the community, when inherently it contributes to the community because it's part of the community. Number one, it gives people an activity to do that's constructive as opposed to something that's destructive to the community. Number two, it allows people to emote and express in a way that they might not have in their everyday life. And number three, it provides jobs and incomes to people who might not have jobs and incomes in other industries. It created an entire industry around which people can build their entire life. So what exactly are we saying here? Like, what do you mean hip hop owes the community when hip hop is part of the community?
So I'll stop you there because I think that it clashes with everybody's capitalistic sentiments. I owe my grandparents for raising me. Do you not owe your parents?
Yes.
Do you not owe the people in your life that have supported you, the teachers that didn't get up on you, the friends that might have been there for you at your lowest? Do you feel like you owe them?
Yes.
Okay, but when we talk about hip hop, when we talk about people who've earned their money, saying that they owe them, now we have a visceral reaction to it, and it's not inherent. A lot of the messaging can be about supporting the community, but in the same way, a lot of the messaging has been self-destruction. And I'm not saying that hip hop is to blame for it solely. I think some of that, again, based on the fact that it's a capitalist system, that's just the American way, and hip hop is just a reflection of that as well. But the messaging is there. It is also celebrating gun violence. It's celebrating violence against women, and it's celebrating addiction. So when I'm saying, oh, we owe them, I'm not even just saying, oh, because of all these different messaging. I'm saying that, there's a lot from this community that has been sewn into your music, into your life. And yeah, you owe them. You can have a moral obligation to give back. And you know what? If you decide to rise up to that obligation, you can be celebrated for it.
But the thing is, you're saying they owe the community like they don't already give back to the community, though.
Okay.
You don't think
I'm
they
consistently giving back to my family, and I still owe them. The idea is, these people have made me who I am. For as long as I'm alive, or for as long as they can be relevant rappers, or continue to tour, or to just make music off their artistry, there is a facet of that is owed back to the community.
But the whole thing is like, maybe I'm just having an issue with the premise, right? Because like, when you're like, yo, you owe me something, that means that there's a deficit between the things that you gained and the things that I gained. I feel like I've gained a lot from hip hop personally. I also think that I shouldn't put my mores on different people. And like, just because I look at life a certain way, I'm not gonna hold you to the same standard. Would I like everybody to give a fuck about the community the same way that Public Enemy does? Or would I like people to really, really care about like preaching like having a healthy community like J. Rue the Damager? Yeah, that'd be cool. But at the same time, I understand that there is a time and place for fun shit, and there's a time and place for shit that has more meaning.
You just saying, like, would it be nice if people gave back? Yes, then people should give back.
But
just
people are giving back, though.
But that's what I'm saying. Should they? Should others actually follow that trend? Should it be a trend in hip hop to give back?
But people are already, aren't they? Like, they're doing all these charities. They're doing charity work. They're giving money to, Like Trader Truth is out here raising money when Hurricane Harvey hit. My man lost his house. My man was stranded and had to get rescued and was out the next day on a boat rescuing other people.
Yes.
Hip hop is out here helping.
You want to bring up specific people, and this is why I said I brought up examples of LeBron and Chance the Rapper in the first place. Should we see more of it? You brought up Trey the Truth. Previously, you brought up Snoop. We can talk about Uncle Luke, who was the father of sexual debasery in hip hop, and he is a godfather in Miami.
I mean, we could talk about Nelly, who was trying to raise money for cancer, and then like got bounced out of Spelman because he just dropped the Tip Drill video. Like, there's always been this paradox in hip hop where it's like, and even when you look at David Banner, whose biggest hit was Like a Pimp, but he goes around having conversations at schools and lecturing people about like cooperative economics and stuff like that. Like, there was always gonna be this like paradox within hip hop, and it's not only hip hop that does this, right? So Metallica can talk about whatever they want to talk about, but then they want to talk about economics when they see dollars going out their pocket.
But we're not
There's
talking about
always a
but we're not talking about what other genres of music are doing, because other genres of music aren't as intertwined with their community the way hip hop is. Rock is not a culture in the same way that hip hop is.
Okay, so let me try to figure this out, right? So you're saying hip hop derives itself from the black community and the community as whole, right? And as such, they need to give back to the community which birthed them, right? So when I name specific hip hop artists that are giving back, you're saying that's not enough. Are you saying that's not enough?
I didn't say it wasn't enough. I'm saying, should it be a cultural standard to give back? But and can we say that it's a cultural standard?
But if you're saying it's a cultural standard, and I give you several examples of people that give back, isn't that a standard? Like, isn't that people explicit showing the standard? No.
Is it a standard?
If you want to say something on the mic, my G. Don't just stand there.
It's not a standard. Okay. It's not a standard in my opinion. It's not an expectation. It's an exception. It still is an exception.
I gotta say I vehemently disagree with your point, because your point inherently like, it starts with the fact that you don't believe that enough people in the community are giving back to their community.
Did I say that?
And you literally said that giving back to the community should be a standard, which makes me think that you're saying that a standard is not being met by people in the community. Henceforth, the people in this community are not giving back, right? I'm just saying that that's the logic that I have in my head.
All right, so this is your logic. Would anybody else from the gang like to state? Yeah, because again, when you say I literally said something and then you give an interpretation of something I did not say, I literally did not say that. I did say that. Is it a standard? No. Does that mean that people are not giving back? No. Wait, Milton, do you have anything that you want to say?
I have many things I want to say.
Just say it on the mic, please. Help.
For this particular part of the discussion, because I just got here, I think Saul is making the argument for there being a standard, and that there isn't one now. So it's not that people aren't doing enough. It's just, in addition to the people currently doing things, should more people follow suit?
Is that what you're saying?
Essentially, I think that there can be an expectation of, oh, you made it, so who are you going to pull up behind you?
Yeah.
And there's no expectation. And I'm saying that there could be an expectation of that, because you as a artist owe the community that you're rising out of.
So what you're saying is, like, the same way every rapper has like a headshot, a mixtape, and an album that needs to be like headshot, mixtape, album, charity work.
That's pretty much a standard when you're talking about black athletes. That's You get yourself a manager, you get yourself a business manager, and then you get your agent. But then you're gonna found your philanthropic organization in your name, and your mom's name, and your father. Well, usually not your father.
Okay. Well. One, I think professional athletes generally make more than the average rapper.
Rappers is not getting athlete money.
They're not.
This is the case also for football players who have no guaranteed money.
Well,
And they don't make. We're thinking athlete money. We're thinking basketball superstar. There are plenty of rookies in every league that, huh? A lot of bench riders. Yes.
Let's break this shit down, right? Talking about athletes, there are four main pro athletic leagues in the United States: the NHL, the NBA, the MLB, and the NBA, right? So if you
there's
are
like 3 niggas in the NHL.
All right. So.
Okay. Beyond that,
And again, I brought up athletes in the sense that they are hip hop. You can't tell me that AI is not hip hop.
all I'm gonna say is this, sir. I feel as though asking people in a better position than me to give back to their community is nice. I do not believe personally that it's required. Like, I would very much enjoy for everybody to feel like we're pressing toward one goal and we're all trying to get to the mark of elevating everyone around us. I'm not going to require it of anyone because I don't know what that person went through and I don't know that person's struggle. For all I know, that person was beat or molested or went through an epic amount of stress every day of their life, and they're finally at a place where they're comfortable, and their main goal is to make sure that I'm never broke, my wife is never broke, my husband is never broke, and my kids are never broke. So if that's what you're going to do, fine. If you're not going to give back to your community, fine. If you could go to sleep at night, cool. Would I like to see that? All right. But I'm not going to require it of people.
Let's let the audience decide. What do you think? Does hip hop owe our community? Do you want to see your artists from your area giving back? Do you want to see artists being celebrated for their contributions more? We'd like to hear what you have to say. You know that it is hard in our life, but we make this look easy. Until next time.
Peace.